Behavior-specific praise. An interview with life skills teacher Jennifer Rhodes. How did you first learn about behavior-specific praise?
I learned about behavior specific praise at my first internship at a severe and profound school for kids that couldn't be in public school. Um, that was a big thing they used to decrease the onset of negative behavior and promote positive behavior placements. And then our behavior intervention team in Scottsdale Unified also trains us on positive specific praise.
How do you use behavior-specific praise in the classroom?
I use it pretty much for that purpose, to decrease the negative behaviors and increase positive behavior replacements. So, if a student would talk over their peers, you might teach them a positive behavior replacement to raise their hand to gain attention appropriately. And when they do that, then you want to praise that specific behavior immediately after it happens so that that behavior will continue to happen.
What are the benefits of using behavior-specific praise?
I think there's a couple benefits. One being that, hopefully if it's done correctly and consistently, it would increase the positive behaviors that you want to see continue to occur. And then also, I think it's a really good way to establish rapport with your students, because, like, we know all people like attention, whether it's positive or negative, but if they're getting it in a positive way, um, then that makes both you and your students happy.
What behavior changes have you seen as a result of using behavior-specific praise?
When it's done again effectively and consistently, is that the behaviors that you want to continue will happen more frequently. And so, for instance, that was an example of the hand raising. But if you have a child that has significant behaviors, for instance, avoidance or dropping to the floor when they are sitting in their seat, if you say, "Oh, I love how you're sitting in your seat and listening to me," they know exactly what behavior you're reinforcing. And so the result would be that that behavior would continue and you would see less of the negative behaviors, such as the dropping to the floor.
What are some things you find easy about implementing behavior-specific praise?
I think the easiest part is you really do see a difference in the kids wanting to behave appropriately when they're getting that positive specific praise for things that they're doing right, instead of constantly getting like the "no, don't do that," where you kind of see them more deflate and then act out more. It's easy to find hopefully the things that they're doing right, and then just being able to identify those sometimes can be easy in students.
What are some challenges that come with implementing behavior-specific praise?
The challenging part is kind of along the same lines. If you have a student that does have very severe and a lot of negative behaviors, the challenge can kind of be that finding those times to use positive specific praise, because what happens a lot of times when you have a really challenging student is you'll go to say that positive specific praise for behavior and they do something negative right before you get to say it, and you don't want to reinforce the wrong thing. So I think that can be the most challenging. And then also just being specific with the praise. So if a child is working, you want to say, like, "I love how you're staying on task and doing your work," rather than just saying "good job." And when you're in the moment, that sometimes you forget to do or name the specific behavior that you want to be focused on.
How could parents use behavior-specific praise at home?
I always tell parents consistency is key, and the same behavior that you usually want to be happening at school, I'll find that parents really want to work on at home as well. So, for instance, if a child is hitting other students at school or avoiding work or responsibilities at home, it could be you would use that same, like, "Oh, I love how you put your dishes in the dishwasher," or "I love how you use nice hands and shared with your brother," so that those same behaviors that you're seeing that want to be continued or decreased at school is the same thing that you are specifically praising at home.